Cheers, I do buckaroos. One more time with feeling. By golly, I was trying to keep that beer cold, but it just wasn't going to cooperate with me. Hey, I've been doing these two beers and BS with a beer whisperer, two beers as a beer whisperer pub kind of video, but here's another pub video, as it were, a beer and a shot with the beer and whiskey whisper. So here's what I got here. I got about a jigger. It was just a little overshot of my West Cork. I measured a full shot and had a little bit left, so it's probably worked out to about an ounce and a half. Anyway, we're going to call her a jigger. West Cork single malt Irish whiskey made from the finest hand-selected ingredients and matured in bourbon casks, aged 10 years. It is an 80 proof whiskey. Runs about 38 a bottle. Really not bad for a single malt. Let me show you. I'm having it in my Woodford Reserve Glencairn here. Oh, nice malty nose. A little bit of honey there as well. Hey, it's not to have a beer too. Why not, right? Show you the can. I picked this up for $15 at a big box store, a 12-pack. It's at stores for about $10 and $11 a 6-pack. The big box store, I got a 12-pack for $14.97. So as much as you hate to support places like that sometimes, you go where the bargain is. 7% IPA. They do not list the IBUs. If I was a guessing man, I'd say 60, 65. It feels like a hybrid of a West Coast to a hazy or a juicy or New England IPA, with the emphasis being on the West Coast. I'd probably say 60-40. And I say that because it's got that citrus, that orange grapefruit creaminess that you get from a hazy, but you also have a lot of those tropical fruit salad notes you get from a West Coast. The pineapple, mango, passion fruit, that kind of thing. It's a very bright nose. It's a very perfect summer IPA. Very perfect. Boy, that was great English time. Sometimes I'm starting to say something, but then I switch gears and comes out all mangled. Anyways, I digress. I'm going to have a drink, man. Oh, shit, biscuits, that's good. That's my first beer of the day. Oh, I forgot to turn my music on. Hold on, let me get that music back on. It's just about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. Rodney Crowell, Earthbound Plan. I love this tune, man. Great tune. Rodney Crowell, one of the great country songwriters of our time. Back when country music actually had some substance. It wasn't these crappy ass pop tunes about buying a boat. But I rest my case. No, but I digress to what I meant to say. Say one thing, I went never drink. The hair's kind of funky. I didn't notice that before I went on camera. I was up doing some stuff, and then there we go. So I get that slowed down. There we go. Oh, I think I'm going to do a meatloaf. But they're talking about doing that side. They talked about scattered showers here. I think I'm going to do it inside. I thought I'd come out to my garage, my faux bar out here. I don't have my actual bar here yet, but I'll get it here shortly. Starting to get some room out here. It's not quite where I want it, but at least I got a little space here. I get very bright orange zest, some grapefruit in there. Actually, like I'm getting some stone fruit there in the middle. Tropical fruit, sure, pineapple, mango, passion fruit, etc. You're going to find it there. Okay, this is such a great tune, man. Someday I'll be leaving, but I just can't help believing that it's not. Out of vanilla and oak on the nose. I feel like I'm getting some toffee as well. I feel like I'm also getting some like a tart apple. Nice. Anyway, I'm going to take a break. Since I let that sit for a little bit, then I just finish her off. I poured an ounce. There's just a little bit left. So I thought, well, hell, I'm just going to pour the rest of it. It's very sweet. I mean, it is what Irish whiskey is described as. The smooth, sweeter one. It is smooth. It is sweet. Smooth just meaning it's easy to drink. I know Scotch drinkers hate when you use the smooth as a descriptor. And I think it's one of those pretentious Scotch drinker things. But it is a main descriptor when you're talking about Irish whiskey. Of course, there's other things to talk about besides smooth, but smooth shouldn't be a bad word. And only pretentious people think it is. And that's the honest to gosh truth. But you'll get a mix of honey, brown sugar, and a sweetness. Oh gosh, that's gorgeous. Again, toffee, vanilla, oak. I feel like I'm getting a hint of orange in there. Just the slightest notion of orange there. That could be the IPA lingering on my palate. Who knows? So I went from hardcore country with Rodney Crowell to Drunken Lullabies by Flogging Molly. See, I'm a genius. I should be on the radio, man, with this mix of tunes, by golly. You'll never know what you hear next. Oh, man. First thing today, man. Goes down easier and Tijuana hooker, baby. I'm afraid I hurt something there. I was rushing to read something earlier, and now I'm a little concerned I pulled something. I'm only about 3 weeks out of hernia surgery. Doctor says I can lift anything over 20 pounds for that next 3 weeks. I'm not even sure that's an option. Yeah, but I'm trying. Every once in a while I'll move wrong and I'll hurt something, and that was one of those times. Hung these couple things up earlier. I just hung this up today. Had it in the house, and it may go back in the house, but I think when I actually get my bar set up where I want it, I'm going to hang it up high so you can see it at the bottom. A little Irish saying behind. I know you can't read it there, but well, cheers, y'all. I'm going to take one more drink. Set that down for a second. Let's pick up the whiskey show. I like this glass. I haven't had it in a while. I've been packed away for over a year, and I finally got unpacked a couple weeks ago. So I've been using it when I can, but I've still been so hot that I've been enjoying whiskey on the rocks. But I thought, you know what? For that last shot, I really want to drink it neat. And so here you go. It's just a great, big, beautiful whiskey, man. Oh, you know, Irish whiskey at $38 a bottle for a 10-year-old single malt. Most are running more than that. The only one comparable, the only one around the same price point, what I should say, is the Bushmills 10-year-old. Runs about the same price. It's been a while since I had the 10, but if memory serves, I feel like this one's a little more complex. The Bush 10 may be just a little bit more approachable. You know, when I first had that back in '97, I read an article about it that offended me at the time. They called it a beginner malt. I said, you know, this is a great whiskey, but it was early into my single malt. You know, I didn't know a lot about single malt at the time, and now 21 years later, now I kind of get what he was saying. You know, it isn't the most complex, but it gives you an idea what single malt tastes like. So I can see why they refer to it as beginner malt. But 20 years ago, I was really offended by that article. It just bugged me. I said, man, that's a pretentious ass. But now I kind of get where this is coming from. Because in my opinion, this one does have a little bit more going on. And yet it's still accessible, but it does have more complexity again, in my opinion. I hate that you have to say that, right? If you don't say that, oh yeah, for Pete's sake, the monkeys. See, that's the kind of mix I got going on. I don't know if you can hear it, but damn. Generations. Oh. You know, the difference, I talk about drinking habits every once in a while. I talk about the difference between craft beer drinkers and craft beer drinkers and macro drinkers. The difference in, cheaper whiskey drinkers and people that drink stuff like this is in how you approach it, right? A macro drinker typically is like if you're drinking a macro light and 10 high, your purpose is probably just to get drunk. Now, if you're drinking like this, you may end up drunk, but that's not your original intention. Because you're enjoying the pour, you're enjoying the aroma as you're doing this. You're not just knocking a shot back as quick as possible and slamming a beer just to get hammered. You're relaxing, you're enjoying the moment. And I think that's an important distinction. We must be what we're going to be. And what we have to be is free. We get to be free. I am getting more orange now. I don't think it's the IPA. I was kind of wondering if it was the IPA lingering on my palate or I was feeling the orange. But no, near the end, I really feel a lot of orange. I also feel like I'm getting just the slightest hint of ginger as well, to be honest with you. So, there you go. Apple, orange, ginger. Hey, you get what you get. I mean, there's certainly a lot of the notes that you would typically get from a whiskey like this. Vanilla, oat, toffee, but I also feel like I'm, again, getting some orange, vanilla, some ginger even. So I get that slight spice at the end. Kind of feels like ginger. Ah, yeah, so I go from the monkeys to UFO. Kiss my ass. I should be a DJ. That's an eclectic mix, Tom. By golly, you're right. So I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. I love this too, man. Too hot to handle. My son Seamus and I saw them at Rocklahoma one year. Oh gosh, they were awesome. They really were. The lead singer was kind of looking a little bit rough, to be honest with you, but his voice sounded just like this. I mean, they were brilliant live. They were tight, and they played what I wanted to hear. I mean, they played this, lights out. I mean, all the usual suspects. Change. Man, they were just awesome. Anyway, I'm Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. But I was too hot. Too hot to handle. I was too hot. Ow, baby. I'm getting a youth flashback now, man. Anyway, I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor wisdom, man. I'm also Tom the Beer Whisperer. Beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor wisdom, man. This is a glass that my wife found at a thrift store, I believe. I think she paid like a quarter for it, maybe. I kind of like it. Look, it's got that little chalice kind of look to it, don't it? I mean, it's not obviously it's not a Belgian or a tulip, but you've got that nice, got that little stem there. It's just a nice all-purpose glass. So anyway, cheers. One more time. Tom the Whisperer, the radio's prolific drinker, purveyor was a man. Sha-la-la-la-la. The two words, but never the same. All around, good guy. Y'all have a good one.